Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. This time let's keep it short and sweet. I got this package in the mail. I'm almost positive it's a tarot deck, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. So if you want to find out with me, stay tuned. So friends, all I have done was open up one side and feel around for a way to get in. I haven't looked inside at all. So let's take a look together. Here we go. This is the plastic, and I think because of the wrapping, I think I know what this is. I think I know what it is. But let's be sure. I think this is a Marseille deck, or two Marseille decks to be exact. And here we go. Okay, so I've cut open, and here, yes, one and two. And I think these are possibly the cat tarot. Let's see. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Let me open up number one, and yes, okay, it's a Marseille deck for sure. Yes, it is. Okay, so here we have the Feline Marseilles Tarot, and this should be a different colored version of the same deck. Here we go with the Feline Marseilles Tarot. So when I ordered these, when I backed these on Kickstarter, there were two different colors for the boxes. Yeah, there was a pink and a green, and I couldn't decide. And so, like Simon at the Hermit's Cave, I went for both. And look at this image on the boxes. Isn't that gorgeous? It's a cat deck. So if you're not comfortable with animal heads on humans' bodies, this might not be the deck for you. However, also remember that the Egyptians put animal heads on all of their gods. So, okay, it's all our own tastes and our own decisions, but I think this is going to be a lot of fun to work with. This, I'm certain, is the Empress. The only differences are going to be the boxes, from what I understand, and also the edging on the decks. The color of the edging is going to be different. Later, there was a different colored box and edging that was available, and I decided not to back that. I kept it limited to these two. Now, it's interesting that these boxes are of slightly different sizes. Just barely, but slightly different. So I'm curious why that is, what the difference might be. So first, let's get a general overview of these two decks, and then I will probably just zoom in, and focus on one of the two decks. So let me cellophane these boxes off camera. Okay, so cellophane of the green deck coming off as we speak. Here is the first deck liberated from its encasement. Here we go. Oh, look at that. Now these boxes are very, very interesting. I find these boxes to be a very interesting design. And I think it will be a convenient design as well. Let me show you what I mean when I get this second pink box unwrapped. Okay, so perhaps you've already noticed that there are ribbons here. So these ribbons are because there is a pull-out drawer. Yeah, a pull-out drawer for the decks, which is a very clever design, I think. So here is the green box, and here is the pink box. So one for everyone's taste. And let's see, both of them include a book, and this book has the green cover. It's a rose petal-ish finish to the book. There's a little bit of a rose petal finish to the box. The inside of the box is nothing special. Yeah. There is some gold paper at the bottom of the inside drawer, which is nice. This ribbon is a nice touch. The overall quality of this creator's decks is always beautiful. I have another set of decks from this creator, which were the Wheel of Fortune Tarot, I believe. I'll put a name right here below. But this is, okay, created by the Wheel of Fortune Tarot. That's the name of the company. I've forgotten the name of the 4 decks that they created simultaneously. I'll put the names below. There was a shadow deck, there was a love edition, a shadow edition, a plastic edition. Anyways, the names will be here. So, the guidebook. What do we have in the guidebook? We have the Feline Marseilles Tarot Guidebook, the Wheel of Fortune Tarot. We have an introduction, and we have general description of what a tarot is, and the French names, yeah, wands, bâton, cups, coupe, swords, épée, coins, denier. So, I mean, very, very standard, basic information for anyone who is not very familiar with tarot or Tarot de Marseille. Then we have the suits, a description of the suits, the major arcana. We have just a little bit of information for each, so enough to get you started. We have the major arcana, and then we go into the minor arcana with an equal amount of information for each card. No images, but images are not necessary. It's a very down and dirty, short and sweet kind of little white book. Coins, and then we have some spreads. Yeah, we have a line of 3 or 5 card spreads. Traditionally, Tarot de Marseille is not used for like a 1 or 2 card pull. Yeah, you should have probably at least 3 cards to read a Tarot de Marseille spread. Third technique, some techniques. Here's an actual picture of a French cross. So a very nice, very simple, easy to understand little white book, or little green book, a little pink book. The pink book looks to be exactly the same. Okay, so let's clear out the books and look at the decks briefly, side by side. So in the green box, we have gold edging. In the pink box, we have silver edging, and the decks are noticeably different sizes. Yeah, the silver-edged deck is noticeably much thicker. Can you see that? Let's see if that's because the cards, well, probably it's because there is a difference in cardstock. Let's take a look. Take the sleeve off. Okay, I'm going to need, no, there we go. I don't need to get a sharp object out. Let me clear away the boxes. So here we have the green deck on the left and the pink deck on the white. The green with the gold and the pink with the silver. So, cardstock. Here is a standard US Games Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. So you can see it is smaller. It is smaller. And many Tarot de Marseille decks are smaller than Rider-Waite-Smith decks. The images, however, are very crisp and clean. Here are the backs. You can see there is a difference in the backs, right? The deck out of the green box has black and white backs, and the pink box deck has pink backs, but the design is the same, just different colors. And cardstock, yes, this cardstock is much thinner. It is flexible. It is flexible, it's matte, but it is much thinner cardstock than the pink deck, which is, I don't know, I'm not good enough to tell the thickness of a cardstock or the weight of a cardstock by feel, but my guess it's about 300 to 320 GSM, grams per square meter. But yeah, but you can see that the images are the same. So to give a good, clear presentation of the deck, which one will I pick? Let's pick the pink deck. I'm in a pink mood today, and I will zoom in. So just a moment, let me get set up for the zoom in. Here we are all zoomed in. And again, this is the deck from the pink box with the silver edges and the thicker cardstock. And you know, this is actually the second time I've started this because I decided I wanted to bring in a different redrawing, more traditional redrawing of the Tarot de Marseille. And this is the Tarot Classic, printed, I believe, in the 1970s. And now let's look for size comparison. Yeah, size comparison of these two decks. They're about the same. The Wheel of Fortune deck is just a hair thinner and a hair taller than the Tarot Classic. But the reason I thought I'd put these side by side is so that we get a sense of differences and similarities. Yeah. So here we have, again, the Fool. This is Le Mat. Now you can see that there is English and French here, which is okay. For me, the French would have been fine. Yeah. For this deck, we have only English, which is okay. I mean, English doesn't bother me, but it's fine. You can see that the Fool in both are walking off in the same direction. Yeah. Instead of a dog, we've got a cat. And notice this fish hanging off of the bag for the Fool. Very fun. The stick is the same. We don't have any plant life in this deck, which is fine. But remember, and also remember, direction is a little more important in reading Tarot de Marseille than it is in standard Rider-Waite-Smith. Granted, many people do read directionally for Rider-Waite-Smith, but for Tarot de Marseille, it is more important, I believe. And you may believe differently, but that is my belief. And that's the way I read. So here we go, the Fool. And here we have the Magician. And here we have, you can see the feet are pointed in different directions. We don't have the thing in the back. We don't have any plant life in the back, but look at that mouse. Oh my God, look at that mouse. Do you see the mouse in the cup? That is so cute. But here we have the necessary stuff. Yeah, we have a coin. We have a knife, basically the same shape. We have the baton. Yeah, we have a cup. We have dice. Everything that we need is here. Do you notice the paw prints on the Magician's clothes? The hat is basically in the shape of the lemniscate. It's pretty much all here. And here we go with La Papesse. Oh, look at that cat. That nice addition. La Papesse has a cat on her lap. And she also has paw prints on her skirt. And I'm sorry. Do you see the fish bones on her hat? That's rich. That is rich. Looking in the same direction. Her book is open. Her book is closed. That's an interesting change. Yeah, we have paws for hands in this deck. I believe the feet are going to look like human feet, but the paws are instead of hands. We have the curtain behind. Almost the same, very, very slight differences. Yeah. Here we have l'imperatrice. Imperatrice. Shield with cats instead of a bird. Very cute. Little cat head on her wand. Very cute. Very similar kind of back. And here instead of paw prints, we have the fish bones as her clothes pattern. I'm interested or curious, is that going to mean anything for us? Is that going to shift our interpretation at all? Here we have the Emperor with paw prints on his clothes. A very, very austere looking cat face, right? And we have a crown instead of a hat. Very interesting change here. And we have the same two kitty shield as we had in the Empress, yeah? These two shields are the same, whereas the shields for the Emperor and Empress in a standard deck are a little bit different. Okay, here we go. Here we go to Le Pape. And here we okay, so we have a pseudo tonsure on the backs of the two supplicants or the two lower priests' heads in this card for the Pope. We have paw prints on his clothes. We have the two pillars. We have the staff. We don't have crosses on here. That's a different and interesting change. We don't have the crosses on the staff. But very similar. Very similar indeed. We have the hat off, and the hat on this cat has a kind of cat head hat. Here we have the lovers, very, very similar. Yeah, Kitty Cupid to Kitty Humans. We have the similar hand poses, right? Her hand is a little higher, but similar. Now we've got kind of bare legs, and there are some decks with Tarot de Marseille where the legs are bare, and not bare in this deck. It probably would have been better if I had a facsimile deck handy, but I don't, and I'm sorry for that. But we get the basic idea. And there's a symbol here on her clothes. I'm not sure what that is right offhand. And here we have the Chariot. And again, cat bones and a cat paw for the shield. Two cats pulling in slightly different directions. Yeah, we have the moons on the shoulders here. We have the canopy. We don't have any wheels on this deck. That's interesting. Now, we can usually see some indication of wheels here, but not here. Paw print there. This is going to be a deck of find the paw prints. Paw print here, paw print here. Oh, look. Okay, so here we have the normal or common form of justice. And in this justice card, we've got a mouse on one side of the scales. We got a fish on the sword. Here we have the hermit. Oh, what a cute, well, cute. I wouldn't say he's cute. This or she is cute. Well, beard. Let's call it a male. This hermit does not look cute. This hermit looks wise, looks a little Gandalf-y to me. Yep, we got the lantern, we've got the staff, we've got the hermit walking off in the same direction. Perfect. I like the colors of the clothes more, actually, than in the Tarot Classic. This diversity of colors, just a bit more interesting. And here we have the Wheel of Fortune, or La Robe de Fortune. Fortune, I think. You can correct my pronunciation whenever you like. We've got the characters rolling around on the wheel. We've got clouds down here, which is interesting. Yep, knife, sword in the hand. Instead of a sphinx-like creature, we've continued with the cat theme. Here we have fortitude, la force, strength. Interesting English translation instead of strength, fortitude. Here we have a cat with a lion. And her hat is in the lemniscate here. Yeah, we've got what we need, I think, to read this very easily. Le pendu, le pendu. Here we have le pendu. With the paws not behind the back, but the legs in the cross of 4. Looks like a happy cat to me. Looks like a happy hanged man. Looks like a happy hanged cat to me. Here we have, okay, now, interesting. Traditionally, this should not have a name. Now, and you can see that there's no French name here, but there is an English name. I would have preferred no English name as well, just card 13 for this deck. But there we go. And we've got heads and body parts here, cat body parts down at the bottom. We've got some flora. We've got a cat head at the end of the sickle. This cat, I don't know, looks rather human to me. Does it look rather human to you too? We've got bare bones. We've got covered bones. Okay, here we go with temperance. Temperance. looking the same direction, 2 cups. Interesting that the tail is wrapping around this side on this card. Yeah, it's the wings, we've got sort of wing-like things here. Fish bones on the cups. No flora in the background. So the backgrounds of these cards, the grounds of these cards is much more simplified. Okay, so here we have the Devil. The Devil card is probably the most diverse in many of these decks. Sometimes there's a face here. Sometimes there are multiple faces. Sometimes it comes out rather like this. Yeah. So in this card, we have eyes in the chest and in the knees. We have 2 breasted feline characters chained up rather than non-breasted ones here. Yeah. But we have the rod. Everything we need is here. I'm not sure. Would we say that there are horns on this devil? Not quite sure. Let's move on. Okay, here we have Maison de Dieu. And a fish. And a fish. There's lightning coming down and a fish. 2 cats escaping. Yeah, one looking like they've fallen. One looking like they may have just been crawling out of a door from the bottom. We have the rain or energy coming down from the heavens. We've got the crown top popping off. La Maison Dieu. And here we go with the star. Okay, so we have a breasted cat, a naked breasted cat here. See, the feet are rather human-ish feet. Not human, not paws, somewhere in between. But the hands definitely are more paw-like. Fish bones on the vessels, both going into the water here, but 1 knee on land, 1 foot in the water. We've got stars above. We've got the ibis here on the tree. So the moon, here we go with the moon. We have the crustacean coming out. Instead of dogs, of course, we have cats. The face in this moon card is very different. It looks like a human face to me. Does it look like a human face to you? We have differences in the towers here. Perhaps not as much of a difference as in some decks, but we do have a difference. We've got the path leading off with mountains in the background here. And here we have the sun card. Very, very traditional sun card. 2 creatures, one with the paw on the chest, one a little less clothed, a face in the sun, and fire raining down, and the wall behind. Now this is actually a little less traditional. Usually this hand is on this person's chest. Okay, here we go with Judgment, Le Jugement. And we have, again, we've got 1 cat rising. We've got 2 cats facing this cat. We've got a cat blowing a cat horn with a fish. Love the fish. Oh, the fish around here. And here we have Le Monde. Le Monde. Now, okay, so we have the cat figure with breasts, looking more female than some. Some decks have a rather male or androgynous figure in the center. This figure looks more female. We've got the wreath. We've got the lion looking a little cattish. We've got a bull, an eagle, and the angel is also a cat. I love this deck, and I like the colors. I like the colors of this deck. Here we have, okay, so the order is different. Let me put these in the same order. Okay, so these are both now in the same order. It's a good thing I stopped because I noticed that 2 of my court cards were still in the box. So here we go with the wands. Yeah, wands, very, very common looking wand. Let's see. Now you'll notice that there are numbers here on the ace. I'm sorry, just a moment. There are numbers here on the ace which are not normal or standard for a traditional deck. But there is the cloud. There is kind of a cloud, a hand coming out of the cloud. You've got paw prints on the clothes here. find the paw prints. The design of this deck is going to be probably much more simple than some other decks, but let's take a look. Here we have the 2, the numbers here. We've got Flora coming out in the same direction. The 3, very similar form for the Flora as well, but we've got, I didn't mention this before, but we've got cat heads at the ends of the wands. Very, very cute. Oh, and it looks like little cat faces here. And here we have the 4, and the 5. Now you can see the basic form of the pips is very similar, is exactly the same. I would say exactly the same as perhaps a Conver deck. This one is a little bit more trimmed down. I mean, the size is smaller, but remembering that when reading, these borders are pretty huge, aren't they? These borders are a little bit huge for me, but still, I like it. I do like this deck. The colors are gorgeous. The design is gorgeous. Yes, we've got the weaving of the wands here, and you can tell it very clearly because of the 2 different colors of wands. And here we have the 9 and the 10. Yeah, very, very standard. Very, very standard. And here we have the Page of Wands. Now, interesting choice here. They put the Page and Valet de Bâton here side by side. It's a little difficult to read. No Flora in the background. And here we go with the Knight of Wands. Cute, cute touches. Everywhere there are cute little touches. Knight of Wands, I'm sorry, it surprised me too. The Knight of Wands, we do have some growth down here. Cavalier de Bâton. It would have been nice to have de and bâton slightly separated, but no biggie. Here we have the Queen of Wands, Grain de Bâton. Baston, I'm sorry, baston, not bâton, baston. Oh, let's see. The bâton, this is a baston. Bâton. I wonder if this is a printing error. Okay, I'm going to have to double check somewhere. I'm surprised. But we've got the basics here, right? Including the cat prints, the paw prints on the clothes. We've got her wand with the cat head. Here we have, oh, interesting, yes. So, oftentimes this is read with the king's baton pointing to the heel as if he's stabbing his own heel. And here we have the king with their cat head pointing down to their heel. So, yeah, you can read this. You can read this very easily. Directions are all the same again. Here we have the cups and the cat elements are just too cute for words. Now this is a more Conver style deck. This is a less Conver style deck, just so you know. And here we have the 2 of Cups. Now traditionally there would be something down here saying something about the printer of this deck here as well. But not here, not a problem, just a point. Cat heads on the goblets, it's cute. Instead of dragon-looking things here, we got fish-looking things because apparently cats love fish. Here we have the 3 of Cups. The 4 of Cups, very similar. Additional growth of a cat head here. The 5 of Cups. Here we go with the 5. And yes, we've got... Now, this is actually more of a traditional Conver decoration, I believe, than this one is. Here we have the 6 of Cups. Here we go, with a fish at the top. And fish in the middle. Cups all open. And black inside instead of red, which is interesting. Pause. Look at that. So much cuteness for such a seemingly simple looking deck. Here we have the 8 of Cups. Yeah. Union within a group, perhaps. And here we have the 9 of Cups. Oh, look at that. This is something I've never seen before. This kind of water flowing out of this bottom cup. That is something new for me. And here we have the Ten of Cups with the cup open to a different side, but actually this is the traditional direction, I believe. This one open and ready to pour into the other cups below. And here we have the Page of Cups. Now, and here we have, as usual, is this a hat or a cap? A cap or to the cup or a cap for his head? Now, usually this is open, and there is the possibility that this is originally the cap for the cup, which we can see here. So this is a little bit different from a traditional conver deck. But looking in the same direction, moving in the same direction, cup is open, looking inside. Here we have the Knight with an open cup here. Here we have, and fish on the Knight's clothes. Here we have paw prints on the Queen of Cups. Reine de Coupe. Queen of Cups. We don't have that canopy, which is usual in this card. There's usually a canopy slightly blocking her vision. It's interesting that that was left off. And here we have the King of Cups, looking to the future, but still pointed to the past a bit. Ready to move, perhaps. Ready to stand up and move to the future. The cup is open, which is good. I prefer that. Looking rather stern, yes? Roi de Cup, the coupe. Here we have this Ace of Swords. Hand coming. The hand is in a different direction. And I suddenly don't remember if this is the more traditional direction or if this is the more traditional direction. But we do have the hand coming out of the clouds. A fish on the sword. And here we have the Two of Swords. Épée. Similar decorations. The Three. Very similar decorations with additional cat heads. Fish. And here we have the Four with a cat head flower in the center. And now this is interesting. Here we are. Okay, so these flowers are here on this one. Smaller, but there. Here we have the Five, and in this deck you can see the sword through the woven swords. Yeah, you can see the one. You can see this sword through this, but you can't in some decks. So it's interesting. That's a cat. That is a cat. For a moment I thought this might be a fish, but that is a cat. And here we go with this. What is this? The Six of Swords, of d'épée. The Seven d'épée. And again, you can see the sword through. Now, there is no change in the color of the swords. Sometimes there is a change of color between the odd numbers, yeah, from the 5 to the 7, for example. Let's see. Here we have the 8. And that's interesting. This additional. Now, this is different, which is very different. Usually the center set of swords is not so different from the others. And here we have the 9. Again, we can see the sword through the woven swords in front. And no change of color. And the 10. Now, usually the swords are moving through, as in this one, yeah, are moving through. But they're not. They're just placed on top in this deck, which is an interesting change. And here we have the Page of Swords with a cat paw there. And there is Flora in the page here. Good to see. Oops, sorry. And here we have... I'm sorry. I messed up. Okay. Well, no, I didn't change the order of this. Okay, so these were out of order a bit. So here we have, back to the beginning. Here we have the Page of Swords, the Valet d'Épée, and very little Flora here. Okay. Why didn't I notice that difference? There's a horse in one and no horse in the other. Okay, so here we have the Cavalier d'Épée, very similar style, cat paw on the decorative cloak for the horse. Here we have the Queen. Interesting, the paw is held up, but she's not holding anything. It looks like she's holding something here. And oftentimes, this bit here is closer to the Queen's belly, giving an indication of perhaps pregnancy. Or just a moment, I might be confusing the Queen of Wands. Let me look. I am confusing the Queen of Wands. So, Queen of Wands, just for a moment, yeah? This is oftentimes closer to her belly, and we get this sense of perhaps pregnancy in this one. But it's a little lower, and it's not as clear in this deck. I'm sorry. Back to the order of the deck. Moving on to the King of Swords. Here we go. And very cute, very similar. Directionality is the same. We've got two swords. We've got the hat. Open, easy to see. He's looking more to the right, he's looking more forward, but I believe this is more standard. And here we have the denier. Here are the coins. Decorations simpler on this side. There's a little cat face in the center of this coin. And here we have the traditional banner with the creator's name here. Created by the Wheel of Fortune, yeah. Fabriqué de Chart à Chef House. Now, you don't see the location on this card. You often see the location of the printing as well. Here we have the 3 of coins. The 4 of coins with the shield in the center. The shield is water, waves, which is an interesting choice. I'm curious about that. Why is the shield waves for this deck? Let me take a quick peek into the book and see if there's any description of that. Let's see. The 4 of coins. We have 4 coins. A trustworthy institution or business, established reputation, safekeeping of money or property, insecure living arrangements. Okay, I guess that's for reverse. No description of the design elements in this. So I'm curious, why is that waves in the ocean? That's where the fish come from. Maybe. Okay, 5 of coins. Here we go. The coins are all basically the same, which is standard. Yeah. 6 of coins in that shape of the wheel. The 7 of coins, 3 above, 4 below. 3 above, 4 below. With a fish. And here, okay, so the 8 of coins. Yeah, cat in the middle and paw at the bottom. At both ends. Paws. Very interesting choice here too. I like that. That's cute. Here we have the 9 of coins. In the center, within their society, within their group, an individual within their group. Here we have the 10, same layout, very good, very nice redoing of the Marseille. Here we have the Page of Pentacles with a cat bowl. Okay, this looks like a food dish instead of a pentacle or a disc. Interesting choice. That looks like a bag at the waist with fish there, which I don't think is standard. Interesting. This also looks like there's a wand, or maybe, I don't know, maybe a fishing pole held up, one disc held up, and instead of the disc on the ground, again, a water bowl or a food bowl at the base. Here we have the knight with some flora, which is good. The disc up ahead. We don't have him holding anything here, which is interesting. Oh, there is a sword in the belt rather than a wand in the hand. And here we have the Queen of Coins, the Reine de Denier. Look at her chair with the paw prints. Her disc held up, her crown very stately, a wand in the hand, or the paw. Here we have the King of Pentacles. Interesting, beautiful, beautiful coloration, beautiful colors. So, friends, what do you think? What do you think of this deck? Does it give you the I've got to get me some feels? I think I'm very happy I purchased this. I'm very happy. Again, I would have preferred smaller borders, but that's really neither here nor there. That would not have stopped me from getting this deck in the first place. It did not stop me from getting 2 versions of this deck. So let's take a look at shuffling, yes? Let's see how it shuffles. And I'm not going to shuffle reversals into this deck quite yet. But let me shuffle and pull a card. So it shuffles beautifully. Yeah, it's a thick deck. Yes, it is a thicker deck. And there is silver edging, which is a little bit sharp. But it riffle shuffles beautifully. It bridges beautifully. Let me try an overhand shuffle and see how smooth, very smooth overhand. Yeah, that's lovely. It's a little bit slippery. It's a little bit slippy, but it shuffles beautifully. See that flash of silver on the backs of this deck. The black and white does not have that flash to it. So let me see. One more shuffle. And what is a good card? What is something that would help us at the time of viewing this video? Where can we put our attention at the time of viewing this video? And the card we get is, drum roll please, okay, so we got the 9 of Swords, the 9 of épée. And now remember, in a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, this is not such a good card. This is, well, there are no bad cards, but this is, in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, a card of nightmares, anxiety, worries. This would be a person usually in a bed with 9 swords above them, awakened in the middle of the night, hands in their heads, with worry and fear and distress. In the Tarot de Marseille, the 9 of Swords card is actually a good card. It's a much more positive card. Let me take a look at the book. The 9 of Swords. Okay, so the 9 of Swords. Focus on success. Working and planning alone as a strategy. Courage and intelligence in preparation. Reverse or lack thereof. So, see, a much better reading to the 9 of Swords in Tarot de Marseille. Yeah? Focusing on success. Our mind as our sharp tool to pierce the barriers that might be limiting us. Working and planning alone, but as a strategy. Courage and intelligence in preparation. Very good reading from the book, and very good reading for us, because, yeah, a lot of times when in tarot, we tend to think of the mind as our enemy. And frankly, sometimes it is our enemy. Sometimes it gets in our way, and our worries and anxieties and negative thoughts and thoughts of self-protection get in our way. But our minds are also one of our greatest tools, and it's a good thing to remember that our minds can be put to good use and can be helpful and move us towards our creation in the world. So, strategy. Use the mind to break through any barriers that you might be feeling are in your way. Friends, what do you think? Do you want to get this card? Do you want to get this deck? One of these decks? I think they're available. I will try to put a link below to where you can find these decks. And friends, let me put the Fool, no, it's not the Fool up on top. Let me put, okay, the Four of Cups up on top. For our stable and balanced relationship. Friends, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and and pure awareness. Meow. Thank you.